The Seven Moons of Ali Malmeda. Hey everyone, hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be talking about myself and the Booker in 2023. Now if you're new to my channel, then hello, welcome. This channel is all about a love for life and the things that I feel quite passionate about. One of which is books and reading and book prizes, and the other is fashion lately. So if you're into eclectic content and you would like to subscribe, I would encourage you to do so. Stick around, it's a good time over here. I would also encourage you to like the video, and without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the meat of this video. I'm gonna do this storytime style. So I had an absolute blast following the Booker in 2022. 2022 was my first full year on BookTube, and I was all about being in and amongst and part of the book prize conversation. So that year I followed the Women's Prize quite closely. I was up on the Pulitzer Prize, though I didn't read the 2022 winner, and I was following the Booker Prize. These were my prizes. I made so many videos about the books and my thoughts and predictions, and I was all about it. So that was my first, that was in 2022. And actually in 2022, I found a favorite book. It was in my top 5 books for 2022 that was on the short list for the Booker. And it is The Trees by Percival Everett. I love this book. It's dark, quippy, it has a really lovely twist in the whole thing that has to do with social justice, and it is a great blend of gritty and witty. Okay, we love a good rhyme over here. So this was shortlisted, and I love this book. I also happen to own the winner. This was a gift from a friend, my friend Anita. This, The Seven Moons of The Seven Moons of Molly Alameda won the Booker. And I didn't buy this when it was in the shortlist or anything like that. This was gifted to me after it had won. And so I have this waiting for me whenever I feel like reading another Booker winner. So then 2023 rolls around. I did a predictions. I did a deep dive into the long list. I did this is videos, by the way. I did videos. And then I got very busy. Things that happen in our actual lives, things that happen in my actual life affect my reading life. The biggest difference between 2022 and 2023 was that in 2022, I was a stay-at-home mother. And though that took up a lot of time and energy, there was a bit more free time than I have in 2023. Starting at the very beginning of 2023, I went back to work as a teacher, and I love my work. I love my work. And it is a factor, it is the truth of it all, that my free time, my leisurely time to read has definitely shrunk to something that it once was. It is a shell of its former self, if we were going to personify time and my own leisurely time. So it is really just not what it used to be. And since I knew that going into 2023, since I had this big change that happened when the Women's Prize came out with their long list and with their short list, I wanted to be incredibly picky about what I read. So I picked the books that I thought would speak to me the most. It wasn't like a smorgasbord of trying all the books that were being offered. It was like, I am going to choose the 2 treats that I think are going to speak to me most. So I read The Marriage Portrait by Maggie O'Farrell, which I did like, and I read Barbara Kingsolver's Demon Copperhead, which I loved. And then, so that was kind of my experience with the Women's Prize. And so I kind of knew going into the Booker that since I had far less free time, that I was going to choose the books that called to me the most, that seemed most aligned to the reading I like to do. I love literary fiction. I love anything that has a lot of wit to it. I like books that are described as having a really strong voice or point of view. I tend to be enamored, or at least I tend to flirt with, like I make eyes with books that are big and chunky. There's just something about that chunkiness that kind of gets me. Like I'm like, ooh, what you all about? So those, to kind of get into, what I like. And so the long list came out for the Booker, and of course I made videos predicting the long list and then reacting to the long list. And there were a lot of books that were unavailable here in the United States where I live, and that I would have to special order them, or I would have to, do some, I would have to do some finagling rather than just, going onto my library's website and ordering the books from my library and them arriving in a day or two. So there were several books that were not available to me, and something happened. I noticed that there weren't a lot of books that were gripping me. And so, as the long list has now shrunken to the short list, I have tried out Western Lane by, I think, Chetna Maru. I can't remember, but Western Lane, I've tried that both on the page and on audio, and I have DNF'd it. Not purposefully, I just have given it 20 pages, 20 minutes, and it is not gripping me, and I'm not super interested in the read. And then the books that I am interested in aren't readily available. And I've talked about this before. So it's The House of Doors by Tan Tuan Eng and The Bee Sting by Paul Murray. Those are the two that are really calling to me, partly because The House of Doors by Tan Tuan Eng is about a writer that whom I have tasted his work before, Mom, W. Somerset Maugham, and it is, I've read Up at the Villa. And then The Bee Sting is supposed to be like a family drama, and it's huge. So it's like, there's something about its chunkiness that is really calling to me. And so as the long list has shrunk to the short list, I have absolutely lost interest in this year's prize. I think that if The Bee Sting were to pop up now that we're getting so close to when the winner is going to be revealed, I don't even know if I would pick it up, because part of it is like I wanted to read it kind of earlier on in the early days of the prize, so that I had an opinion and I could sort of follow the career of the book as we move through these different stages of the prizes. But thus far, I haven't read it yet. I don't know if I want to read it, and I maybe in the future, like maybe I've just. Here's what happened. It's like what once has gripped my heart has now, my heart has gone astray and been gripped by other things. Like I'm just, it's like we were flirting for a little bit, and then I just started flirting with other things, mostly books in my own collection, mostly books in my own collection. And so as time has passed, I wanted to close like that feedback loop in terms of like, I don't like when I just don't conclude my thoughts about a project. And I did start the project of following the Booker this year. And I wanted to say officially that the Booker has lost me in 2023. Like, it has lost my attention, my fandom. I don't really care who's gonna win. And I'm gonna say, like, better luck next year with a list that's more interesting. Because this year it's just not the thing, truly, for me. And as more time passes, the more this year's list is fading in my memory. And as the winner is going to be announced in a mere, couple of weeks, I am just, it is gone. I have, what reminds me about the Booker? Instagram. So tell me if this has happened with you, if you are a long-standing prize follower. I blame time, like my own free time, it being shrunken down to a shell of its former self. And that is absolutely okay with me. But what it's done is that it's refined the things that are important to me. And this year the Booker isn't. and it didn't make the cut. And I'm okay with that. So if you all have had a similar experience, and if you have been into a prize and then 1 year or a couple of years in a row, it's just lost you, does it ever come back? Does the excitement ever come back? I would love to know that. I would love to just hear some thoughts about you and prizes and like how your feelings have changed over time. And as of right now, I really loved my experience with the Women's Prize. I love that I read the 2 books that I thought I would like the most, that I chose, most aligning to what I can suss out about my own taste. And it was great. I really enjoyed like the way that I followed the prize and the way that everything, went from start to finish. And so I'm curious as to, your experience with prizes and the changes you've gone through personally and sort of internally between yourself and a prize. I'd be very curious about that. So anyways, that's it. I'm gonna go. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here and, letting me share my thoughts about myself and the Booker. I really appreciate it. And, congratulations to the future Booker winner and those who made the short list and those who were all honored by the long list. Woot on you. As far as me and the Booker, just better luck next year. So that's it. I'm gonna go. Bye.